What we're looking at is a wall-mounted 4-stage 75-gallon per day RO system by NuAqua. Back at it again with an exciting video. We were actually sent a RO system and told to make a really cool video with it, so that's what we tried to do. The RO system behind me right there, we have it already installed and set up. We're going to show you how to set up an RO system, why you would need it, what we're going to use it for, what you could use it for, and pretty much everything else you need to know about it, including how much it's going to cost you, how much this one would cost you, and a couple other things. So what we're going to be doing is setting up this rack behind us with this RO system. So essentially we are going to be able to effectively control our TDS and chemical composition 100% completely, and really set it up for shrimp. Since guppies are hard water, they do fine in our TDS of around 700. Shrimp are more 100 to 200 depending on the species, sometimes even lower. We are going to be controlling our TDS and trying to get it at that perfect range for both Caridina and Neocaridina. Now you can do the same thing for anything you choose to. The possibilities are endless and we are going to get into them. Here is our NuAqua RO system. I appreciate you guys sending us this. I've never used an RO system before. I've heard great things, so this is going to be a first for me. I'm not really sure what to expect, but we're going to get this open and see what's in there. We had a box inside the box, and inside the first box we just opened, we had a float valve, quick fit fitting. So I believe this is the actual system. All right, so let's get this out of the box and take a look. We have our equipment. This is everything it came with, the main unit, fittings, and instructions, which we're about to... And then some airline or water line in this case, I'm not sure yet. And that. So let's go read the instructions so we can figure out what the names for all these pieces are and how this works. What we're looking at is a wall-mounted 4-stage 75-gallon per day RO system by NuAqua. So this is what it would look like when you have it mounted before you install all the water lines, essentially. This will provide a water of absolutely 0 TDS that is perfectly pure. You can then either mix that with your hard water to create balanced water, or you can add your own minerals to create the composition you want. You can even make this into drinking water if you add a UV sterilizer or choose an RO system with one built in. This really is an ultimate system. This is what we chose to wall mount the RO system to, just a scrap piece of wood we had laying around. What you choose is up to you. The tools we're going to be using in this project include screws to mount the RO system into our board we showed you, and also we used the screws to mount the board to the fence. Scissors to both cut the rigid tubing we were about to show you and to cut the zip ties that we have in place. We'll need a tape measure to make sure everything's level, Sharpie, these T's that I believe are of 1/4 inch, like standard waterline airline size, are for the rigid tubing. Now this will be demonstrated later, but it is a material we are going to need. It is for the T's and valves and the water. This is how we're going to fill up our tanks essentially. This is the valve, also for the same thing, so we can turn it off and on. That is essentially all the materials we need though. Very short list. And a drill to, use the screw. Let's install this thing. Super simple. Remember that mounting board? Put your screws in. The mounting brackets are already on the RO system. Hang it up on it just like that. Easy enough. Make sure it's level. That all comes to what you're mounting it to. Remember that water line? That's the next step. Let's go put that in. Installation of the water lines is a simple process. Simply push up when you place the water lines in to insert them, and then put the clamp on. And similarly, you'll push up and then pull out when you go to take the tubing out in case you want to change your tubing. You'll notice these water lines are colored. These are color codes. The blue is your fresh, clean RO water, your outtake if you will. The white is your intake, where your water comes from. And the black is your waste or your drip line. Now it's essential you have all three of these distinctly marked so you know which is which. And they're easy to assemble. Now, in our case, we tapped into our existing water line for our intake and our existing waste line for our outtake. The blue line, our clean water, essentially, is connected to our rigid tubing we showed earlier. Now, when it comes to maintenance, you're going to want to change these filters according to their directions, or just how dirty they get with your water. If you have fairly soft water, they're going to last longer. If you have incredibly dirty water, or if you're filtering pond or well water, obviously they're not going to last as long. Use the provided tool to take the loosen the casing, then finish it off with your hand. You can rinse out and try to reuse the cartridge to extend the lifespan, or you can go ahead, and they're not very expensive, order a new one from the NuAqua website. They have replacement cartridges available for any of the stages of single, each individual stage. So the setup really was kind of that easy for us. We already had a water line, so we just put in a T and plugged it into the RO intake right there. We just put in that T, and we already had an outtake, so we just plugged another T into that. And here's our rigid tubing in action. The RO system has been running for a couple hours, and here's the water. It comes out just as a drip, but that's okay. See, here we have our TDS Easy or Easy TDS meter, and if we can see here in the back, it kind of just tells you, your average tap water is between 200 and 400. Anything other than that's pretty dang hard water. You're probably using well water or mineral water, something like that. So what we want to do is take our TDS meter and put it in this random breeder box, which was dirty, so it's not going to read 0, but it'll be really low. So it won't read 0 because the breeder box is going to have materials in it, which is going to be picked up. So we can see here as it's filling, it's reading, it started at 50, and as it's filling, it is going down. Now it's reading 30, 40, which is incredibly soft water. I don't know anything that would require that soft of water. So now we're going to take it out, and we want to check the TDS of our tank. Now we'll see the TDS of the tank here is considerably harder. It's at 200, 250, probably somewhere around there is an accurate reading. Our ponds are around the same. This would be considered harder water. Not extremely hard water, but harder. Now, we are already running our systems on a filter. This is the 2-stage filter we already use, which is nowhere near as good as this RO system. It just filters some of the heavy metals out, so we don't have a bunch of copper or anything like that coming in. If we weren't using this, our TDS would be in 700, 1000 range. Incredibly hard. 2-stage will be going to all the pond, and the RO system will be feeding the shrimp. So this did take a while to fill. I was able to just turn our nozzle to on and then kind of just walk away for a while, which is what we would expect with filling 10 gallons. It's going to take 1/7 of a day on a 75 gallon a day system. So that was not unexpected. However, that water does look really clean. Pretty good. So just to recap, we did almost a 50% water change and put in our RO water. Now our previous TDS was between 200 and 250. So what we're going to do now is see how much we lowered it. And we are at 134. So yeah, that's a roughly a 40% TDS reduction with probably a 40% water change, honestly, which is exactly what we would expect. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower this a little bit more because we want it really between 80 and 100 for Caridina shrimp. Unfortunately, our order did get canceled for those. We're going to continue and make this a series of videos. We have plans to change a lot of things. We're going to get into that soon, but stay tuned in the series because we're going to use this RO system for a whole lot of stuff. But basically, that's how we're going to do the water and get it to the right TDS. So let's go take a look at how much setting up an RO system is going to cost you, because that's always a question people want to know is, well, it's cool and all, but how much is it going to cost? So here we're looking at the NuAquasystems.com website. They do all kinds of RO systems, from aquariums to whole house to replacement filters. These guys are professional as it comes. They definitely know what they're doing when making a system. This was 100% a professional grade RO system. Now this is a 4-stage. They do offer, I think, up to a 7 or even maybe even a 10 stage. It's insane. Check out their products. They're really reasonably priced. You can see here, the one they sent us, we don't have a discount code for you, but you really don't even need one. $165 for a 4-stage RO system. That's less than a tank of CO2. Just a tank. It's not, no CO2. That's less than the tank for the CO2 for the entire RO system. That's going to last you, if you replace the cartridges, this thing will last you forever. So I don't know. I can't really hype these guys up enough. This is a completely honest review. I have a link down in my description if you want to go check out their products. They even let you try it for 120 days. So that's completely, I don't see a reason not to check it out if you are in the market for an RO system or are interested because of the video and what you can do with it. Now let's just take a look at some of the other, specifics I didn't go over in order. So, like I said, it's a 4-stage filter. So we have our sediment filter, which removes all your, large particles, your dirt, rust. We have our carbon block, which is normally what we would see carbon filters in aquariums. This is very common. This removes your chlorine, your organic chemicals, and any odors. Now we have the reverse osmosis part. This removes your heavy metals, your copper, chromium, lead, fluoride, nitrate, salts, and many other contaminants. So this would be all the things that are going to kill, especially copper. That's why I highlighted it. And chromium. Large amounts of those will kill invertebrates, especially Neocardina and Caridina shrimp. Yes, they do need small amounts of them, but you can dose that with other things, like in small amounts in food and things like that. You don't need it in the water. And then the 4th stage is the deionization filter. I've actually never heard of this one before. This is like a gel filter. It was really cool. I don't really know much about how this works, but it says it removes remaining minerals and salts. So good, cleaner water. Now it comes with your 4th-inch fittings. It can be set up in minutes. It really can, especially if you don't wait for rigid tubing. You just mount it and plug in your water lines and you're good to go, especially if you already have a waste trap and inline water, like water source coming in. It comes with your faucet diverters, garden hose system. Comes with the reverse osmosis system itself. Comes with the colored tubing and an instruction manual. Not that that's even needed, really. It does require a little bit of pressure. That's so it can force the water through the filters, and you don't want too much pressure because then it's just going to blast it through it. You're going to get carbon all over the place and things like that. Don't have it in freezing or boiling water, and safe water, or use a UV sterilizer. Now, our water is already coming from a safe water source, so we don't need a UV sterilizer. But if you added a UV sterilizer, you could use this for literally anything, which is really cool. So yeah, that's the breakdown of the NuAqua Reef Series 4-stage 75 gallons per day reverse osmosis system. Definitely worth it in my opinion. 5 stars from Bishop Aquatics. We look forward to using it more, and we are going to do a whole series of videos because we have plans for them. If you are interested in this system, check out the link in the description that lets them know that I did a good job on the video and that you're interested in their products. Thanks guys, hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.